Welcome to Strumming with Christopher. I'm Christopher Gallegos, librarian for Monterey County Free Library's Gonzales branch. And welcome on to another episode of Strumming with Christopher. So today we're going to talk about something different than what we've been doing. We've been doing strumming. Last time we talked about combinations of chords, G, C, D, and A minor, E minor. We've talked about strumming, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tuning your guitar, talking about those things. You've probably noticed by now that I start off each episode with playing something that kind of has to do with what I'm going to talk about. So I was playing something different right now, a little faster, a little harder, a little louder. And many, many moons ago, I was in a heavy metal band, and I played in punk bands and rock bands, and it was a long time before I was a librarian. But a certain kind of chord that you're going to find in those types of music styles, louder music, a lot of electric guitar stuff, you're going to find something called a power chord, and it's actually very, very user-friendly. And the reason I'm introducing power chords now is because pretty soon we'll be moving to something called bar chords, which are shapes that you can move all around the guitar. So that's really important because a lot of people never get past these chord shapes up here. I still always wonder why they're all up here for some reason, but then as you go along, you start learning about jazz chords, all these different shapes, right? You start learning about chord melody and things like that. But what those have in common is that you're using the whole fretboard. And right now we're kind of staying up here. We're learning about our right hand. But I want you to start also thinking about ways you can explore the guitar. So we've mostly been talking about the first 3 frets. A power chord is not really a minor or a major chord. It's essentially a chord with 2 notes. And sometimes you'll have people that will use 3 fingers and it'll be 3 notes. But it's still really 2 notes because your pinky is playing what's called the octave. So say we're going to do a C chord right here, which I'll show you in a second. C power chord. You add your pinky to the fret right under your ring finger. Still the same chord. But your pinky's really just playing a C, just a higher note. So here's the bass. And your pinky would be playing. So the classic power chord is only two fingers, and it's really just a root note, which is the name of the chord you'll be playing, usually a bass note, and another note that I think is called a fifth in music theory. We won't get into music theory, but I tend to play kind of in a weird way using my pinky and my index finger, just because I like the way it feels. But a lot of people will play with your index finger and your ring finger. And it's a really cool little pattern that's very easy. So we'll start you with a C power chord. And what you're going to do is take your index finger and go to the 3rd fret on the A string. So the 5th string from the bottom, or the 2nd string, if you're looking down. That's your C, remember, tip of your finger. And think about skipping this middle fret. You're always going to have 1 fret of space in between each finger. And take your ring finger to the 5th fret on the D string. Okay? So it's really just 2 notes. And a pick is always good for this. If you don't have one, remember you can always pinch your fingers together. Just be a little bit more gentle when you're playing. It's a little bit harder for these types of chords without a guitar pick. And so that pattern of the 2 notes is something that you can actually move up and down the guitar. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's a C. You notice I'm way down here. Same thing can go on these top 2 strings. So you're only going to be using these 3. Low E, A, and D. So I'm showing you the one that would be on the A and the D string. But the same exact pattern can jump up here. Same exact idea. So this is a G power chord. And it would be your 1st finger on the 3rd fret, low E string. 1st finger, 3rd fret, low E string. Remember, skip this fret here in between them. Move to the next string down with your ring finger and go to the 5th fret. Sometimes you'll be looking at your guitar and you'll see these little dots. Usually on this one, it doesn't start till the 5th fret. Those little dots are usually a way for you to tell what fret you're on. Same exact pattern. This is a G power chord. And you notice I'm kind of doing a down strum like we did with our chords, but I'm doing it a little bit less wide because you want to make sure you're only playing the 2 strings that you're fretting. So for example, I'll try to play up here. G power chord on the low E and the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, just faster. Still doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but only on these 2 strings. Move it to an A. So you see what I'm doing? You can move this shape anywhere as long as your fingers maintain that relationship with the 1 fret in the middle here that's empty. So you always have your bass note, and then you skip this fret. Kind of use your middle finger as a spacer if that helps you when you're learning. Yeah, I'm not going to be fretting this. And then take your ring finger to the next string down, and then you have that 2nd note, and move that shape. Just try moving that shape all up and down, and just do a really basic down strum for this. That'll sound fine. So get fancy and go down as far as you can. Maintain the shape. Can't go any further. So that was using that pattern on the low E and the A string, but you, like I said, you can also go down, do that same pattern on the next set of strings down. So, for example, think about a G and a C chord, how they sound together. We did this last time. G chord, C, power chord version. So power chords, they allow you to get a feel for different sounds and start moving all around the neck of the guitar without a lot of risk. When you're learning normal chords, you have to learn a ton of different shapes before you can play songs, for example. There's chords we haven't even gotten into yet, like 7th chord, blues chords. So that's one. There's minor bar chords, there's 13th chords, there's minor 9th chords. You know, there's all kinds of different shapes, but a power chord is kind of your gateway into all these shapes where you're moving up and down the fretboard, and they're very, very easy. They're very approachable. So let me show you a little pattern real quick that's also fun to experiment with. And it's kind of a version of what I showed you last time. G, C, D, clusters of 3 chords that sound good together. Power chord version of that. So, normal chords. Using our shape on the low E and the A, and then going right down with that same shape, 2 strings down, and then going over 1, same thing. Power chord version. Now also remember, you're playing only these 2 strings that you're fretting wherever you are. So like if you're up on the low E and the A, only play those 2. Don't strum up high. I'm just doing this so you can see both hands. Move down the shape. Only play those 2. Start getting the control of that. Move down, move down, move back to the C. So that's a really fun thing to experiment with. Just a fun kind of little side lesson that will allow you to start opening up your world and not just feel trapped up here. One more thing I want to show you that usually goes hand in hand with power chords is something called palm muting. Again, you don't have to learn this. It's just fun. So you see what it sounds like when I'm doing that down strum. A lot of power chords, down strum gives you a lot of control because it's just 2 strings. If you try to do down and up, it's harder. It's doable, but down strum works really good with this. Sometimes you want a more powerful sound or kind of a chunky sound. So here is a C power chord. And I'm going to do this thing where what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the kind of the meaty part of my palm on the strings where I'm playing, more or less. You can cover more than that. And I'm going to be playing, in this case I'll be doing a pick, but you can do it without one. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of have your palm of your hand on the strings very, very lightly. Not so much that you hear nothing, kind of lightly, and then you're going to strum a little bit. It'll sound like this. Non-muted, more open, chunk, move down to a D. You hear a lot of styles say it's really fast, like hardcore, punk music, something like that. It would sound like this. So you see how powerful that can be, and it's low risk. You only need 2 fingers, and the formula is always the same. So give Power Chords a try. Something different, and it'll start also building up your finger strength. And if you want to try that thing I do, use your pinky instead of the ring finger. Sometimes it'll start to hurt when you do this too much, and you got to start getting strength in your pinky too. Same idea. And the whole point of that is also you're getting some strength in your hand because you're playing on these low strings, and it takes a little bit more strength with your kind of the muscles in your hands. Anyway, give that all a try. Good seeing you all again, and thank you. See you again soon.